Hello everyone and welcome to part 38 of my F1 Challenge career mode. Today it's the Spanish Grand Prix. It's been a long time since Imola, but back in Imola I managed to finish third and on the podium. Now this track is a little bit more difficult, so we will try our best around this track, but if we get a podium that would be fantastic. Now the series is going to finally return. I do plan on doing another video very shortly after this in this week, so look out for that as well. Press like if you want the return of the series to carry on. Without further ado, I'll now hand you over to the commentator for our first race back in a very long while.
Just before the free practice session begins, let's take a quick look at the Drivers' Championship. Well, that covers the drivers. Let's take a quick look at the Constructors next. McLaren lead the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari are second. Williams are third. Located just a few kilometers to the north of Barcelona, the superb Circuit de Catalunya speed straights with an interesting selection of slow, medium and high-speed turns. This dedicated motorsports facility is a good example of modern circuit design and is highly rated by most of the teams, both as a race and testing venue.
So now we jump into practice, and I have to say my pace is better than I thought it'd be. I mean, this track is very difficult. I mean, for anyone who watched my Season 1 Spain video, you see how much I struggled. Well, back then, of course, I was slightly newer to the game, but still, it's been a good few months since I even tried this game. And the only incident we had in practice was Verstappen just cutting us out on the outside there, kind of moving around, kind of like his son does in Hungary. But in terms of pace, we weren't too far off, about a second and a half, 2 seconds off with the final spin near the end of practice there. The McLarens and Ferraris were at the front with the Williams as well. It looks like they'll be very difficult to even get points because obviously they occupy the first 6 positions and those are the only ones you can get points back in 2001. But we jump into qualifying now. We've already set a 24.5 and we're going to come across the line. Are we down or up? We're down, but we do improve to a 24.4. Now we don't actually improve on our lap, we do all the laps that I could to try and get as much practice in as I can, but unfortunately I spun the car on one of my later laps and that was the last bit of highlights for qualifying. But I'll now hand you over to the grid.
Hello there. Welcome to Spain for round 5 of the 2001 FIA Formula 1 World Championship. The weather, as so often is the case here, is just wonderful. Michael Schumacher first. Schumacher second. Hakkinen third. Coulthard fourth. Juan Pablo Montoya fifth. Rubens Barrichello consistently outpaced his championship rival. He starts 6th. Eddie Irvine 7th. Raikkonen 8th. Trulli 9th. The BAR driver endured a lackluster qualifying session and faces a tough start in the midst of a chasing pack. He starts 10th. Branson 11th. Giancarlo Fisichella 12th. Villeneuve couldn't quite match the pace of his teammate. He starts 13th. Heidfeld 14th. Alesi 15th. Berti 16th. De La Rosa 17th. Verstappen 18th. Jenson Button 19th. Bernaldi 20th. Fernando Alonso 21st. Marquez 22nd.
So we qualify in 10th for the Spanish Grand Prix. Not a bad effort, but we don't want to get too tangled up in the midfield in the early phases, but we have the lights. Lights out and away we go, and Frentzen does get a really good start, but then second part of the start he bogs down or something. We've got a very good run on Jarno Trulli here on our left and Kimi Raikkonen's front, and then I believe Eddie Irvine there, and we're going to go down the inside of them all, but we've gone too deep. We've hit Barrichello ever so slightly, very lucky there not to cause ourselves to go into a spin or spin Rubens Barrichello. But as we head towards the long right-hander in the first sector, Rubens Barrichello has gone very wide, actually onto the grass there. We've got the Ferrari and McLaren Williams at the front of us, but Rubens Barrichello has braked really early. We're going to go down the inside. Can we take Rubens Barrichello for 6th place? Yes, we have. So that's a pretty impressive move, actually, from quite far back. And you can see one Pablo Montoya in front of us, and then a McLaren in front of him. And I believe Michael Schumacher was leading this race. Michael Schumacher got pole by just over a second, so he looked absolutely dominant. But as you can see, we are struggling through the corners a little bit. Our downforce isn't as high as some of these cars around us, which will be evident throughout the race. As you see traffic going to go flying, you've got Rubens Barrichello alongside us. He's going round the outside. Are we going to stick it up the inside? Yes, we are, at the end of the second sector. And are we going to keep it there? I think we are. I don't think Rubens Barrichello can fit around the outside there, but we're looking at a replay of the initial start. And you'll see that there is actually a Benetton, I believe, that never actually started at the back of the field. But we went crashing down into turn 1. We slipstreamed Kimi Raikkonen all much we can, and we overtook them all, including Eddie Irvine. Eddie Irvine was actually the fastest of the midfield, which is quite surprising, really. The Jaguar isn't that great. But Rubens Barrichello here with the onboard had an opportunity to go around the outside, and he did, but of course I then stuck out the inside, held my line on the inside. Rubens Barrichello couldn't quite have the grip around the outside, or the AI got scared. I'm not exactly sure, to be fair. But we'll now move on to lap 4, where we've got Rubens Barrichello, of course, still behind us. Going into the second sector, and is he going to have a go down the inside? Yes, he is. He's had a little bit of a lunge here as Rubens Barrichello. He's cut across the corner a little bit, and he's gone past us, which is just a really good move. And I'm going to stick it down the inside again, and we're not going to be able to hold it round here. He's got the line, and he's got the plate. And I was really struggling in the last sector. Of course, it was high-speed corners, and this BAR just didn't have the right downforce for it. But you can see that Rubens Barrichello went down our inside. We tried to hold it round the outside. We couldn't because we just don't have the same grip as the Ferrari. And they went on the inside on that long right-hander, but we just couldn't hold it either. So Rubens Barrichello is now in front of us, and we're down to 7th place. We're out of the points, but we are at the head of the midfield, which will be important in case there's anything happening up front, like an engine failure or a crash or something. So we need to keep our eyes out for that. But you can see on that replay that Kimi Raikkonen actually got really close to me there. It's because I got a really bad exit off the last corner. I didn't know how to take it properly, but Kimi Raikkonen has actually just gone down our inside at the end of the first sector. Has Kimi Raikkonen taken us to 7th place? Kimi Raikkonen is very much in the midfield of that Sauber, so we really should be beating him, but we've gone down the inside again. And Kimi Raikkonen's held it round the outside, but we're going to slipstream him down into that fast left-hander. Going to be a bit ballsy here and go down the inside. Have I made it legitimately? Yes, I have, and I've passed Kimi Raikkonen for 7th place. I've got a bit of a train hanging behind me because of these kind of incidents popping up. My pace wasn't that great, but I realised that I had a lot more fuel than a lot of these people. A lot of them were pitting before me, and I think a lot of them are 2-stopping. We are going for the 1-stop. So we'll see how that plays out for us. But you see that I went down the inside here from Kimi Raikkonen's onboard. I like the Sauber onboard, actually. It looks quite nice. But we slipstreamed him down into the left-hander, and then we got him fairly, and we are up in 7th place again. But we need to try and keep in touch with the leaders if we're going to get a decent result in this Grand Prix. But moving on to lap 13, and you can see that Ralf Schumacher's only a second, 1.2 ahead of me. And that's because they've all pitted now. But this is really interesting. It's going around this long right-hander, and if you look up front, there's been contact, there's a wing in the air, there's gravel going up, there's a really slow-moving Minardi. So there's been an accident with Ralf Schumacher. So look at the replay here. Ralf Schumacher going along, very slow Minardi, goes wide, then he crashes into the Minardi, and then goes straight into the barrier. So that's an incredible thing to happen there. As you can see, he just goes back on the track, hits the Minardi, and then goes off, hits his rear wing off, and that's Ralf Schumacher, our former teammate from the 1999 season, out. We now skip on to lap 16. Nothing much happened. I mean, yes, there were cars literally all over my back, but they just couldn't get past. So we finally come into the pits, but this actually gives us a chance to get points here, because it means that one of those top 6 cars, one of the Ferrari, McLaren or Williams, will not be finishing in that points paying position. But we need to hope for a good start from BAR here, so let's see. We are go. It's a 10.7, which isn't so great, but we have gotten 100 litres into our car, so our performance is going to be down a little. But as you can see, Eddie Irvine has passed us, and he was one of the people that was running behind us, and we've got Heinz-Harald Frentzen coming up very close. So is he going to pass into the first turn? No, he isn't, so we've got the inside line, and Eddie Irvine is just hanging in front of us, but on lap 21 he pit again. So obviously he's doing a 2-stop, and that means that we're going to move back up into 6th position. And we're actually not too far off the leaders, but unfortunately we just don't have the pace to catch them up. And on lap 32, we had to come across the line here to claim a point, a well-deserved point. and I really hope you enjoyed this race. I mean, I will be doing the next race, which I believe is Austria, pretty soon. But as you can see, Michael Schumacher won the race with David Coulthard finishing second and Mika Häkkinen third. With all of the top six, it was really difficult to match their pace around this track because the nature of it, the BAR just wasn't up to it. Funnily enough, the Jaguar was the closest thing to it, according to qualifying. So we'll hope for more pace in the next track in Austria. But I'll now hand you over to the results.
After that fantastic Spanish Grand Prix, let's take a look at the final results. Michael Schumacher first. David Coulthard second. Mika Häkkinen third. Rubens Barrichello fourth. Juan Pablo Montoya fifth. The BAR driver sixth.
So as you can see here, I only finished 50 seconds off of Michael Schumacher, which I think is pretty impressive given the car we're in, but I'll now pass you over to the Drivers' Championship.
The results confirmed, it's high time we updated the Drivers' Championship. Schumacher extends his lead at the top of the Drivers' Championship.
As you could expect in this, we were in 7th place, not too far off of Ralf Schumacher because of the incidents he's been in, so he's someone to watch out for and catch in the next few races.
Ferrari regained the lead of the Constructors' Championship. McLaren are second, whilst third place is held by Williams.
In the Constructors, however, we are way far off. We just don't have that strong of a teammate, and my results haven't been that great to propel BAR into that top 3. But I really hope you enjoyed this video. Press like if you did. Also comment about the return, what you thought of the race, and how you think I'm going to finish the next race. But that has been it from me, and we will be getting another race soon, I promise. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.